Amber Summer, for those of you that don't know me. Our lovely photographer here his name is Grant, so I invited him up from Oak Ridge. He actually graduated university last year to be in videography and things like that. So I invited him to kind of get some practice while I'm also getting practice being in front of the camera. All right, so for those of you that don't know anything about me, just so you're aware, I am a leadership, life, and also an executive coach. So what that means is I help people to align their lives with their most authentic, wonderful selves by finding out who they are at their core, what limiting beliefs that they have, and helping them work through all of that so that they can make a life that they are really proud and happy to live. So that's what I do. All right, so everyone has their notebooks and their pens. Those are for you all to keep, by the way. So before we get started, does anybody have any questions or any thoughts on this topic before I jump into what I'm going to share today? So anything about authenticity that comes to your mind on what you maybe expected to come from today? Nothing? So you just came? Just to have fun? All right, that works. No expectations is great because that means I will succeed at this. Okay, wonderful. All right.
Learning.
Yes.
Yes.
Perfect.
Just to learn.
All right, so in those notebooks, there's nothing in there, it's blank slate. So what I want you to do is anything that stands out to you as I'm speaking today, take note, okay? If it speaks to you, if it resonates, put it in there. If it doesn't resonate, something doesn't click for you, also write it in there because at the end, when I leave room for discussion, you can say, hey, this didn't quite make sense, and I'd be happy to discuss it further. And we can always set up a one-on-one, which I'll talk to you more about at the end, if you have anything that comes up for you. So those notebooks are for you to enjoy and for you to envision your best business and also anything else that comes up. All right, so I would like to know real quick, I know everyone's kind of eating, so if you don't feel like sharing just yet, that's okay. But I'm curious on who you are and what business that you run. If you don't currently run a business yet, but have one in the works or something that you're aspiring to do, if you could share that, that would work as well. So I'll just go ahead and start there if you want to.
I'm Mary Ellen Fry, and I'm a licensed massage therapist. I've had a business up here for 2 years called Bio Kidney Day Spa, and got divorced, and now all that's kind of so trying to find a place to get my practice back in and get all that stuff again.
Awesome. And so how long were you in business prior to the divorce?
For 2 years up here.
2 years.
We just moved here. Well, we just moved here 5 years ago in July.
Wow, from where?
From Iowa.
Iowa. Wow, awesome. Okay, well, welcome. And I'm looking forward to hearing more about that. That's super exciting. And Dula, how about you?
I am Dula D'Imperia. I'm transplant from Florida. We've been here 1.5 years. She's a lover, and I have 4 children, and 3 of them are under 5. I have the ambition of starting a travel agency. I've done a lot of the fun stuff, setting up my domains and all of those things. I even have a couple of sales under my belt. I have 14 plus years in the airline industry, so I want to separate a lot of those skills into something that I love, which is travel. A lot of the niches that I'm looking for. A lot of people do Disney and cruises and things that are kind of, closer ones, but I really like crazy places like Argentina, Iceland. I have friends in New Zealand, so those are kind of my far-flung places that are my goal niches. But I'm at the beginning stages. So.
Yep. Awesome. Well, welcome, Dula. And how about you two up here?
My name is Mark.
Hi, Mark. Sorry, you can scoot your chair around if you want to, so you don't have to get back to me. Yeah.
I'm Katie as well.
Hi, Katie.
I have a business where I raise rabbits for me.
Awesome. Okay. How long have you been doing that?
About 1.5 years.
1.5 years. Okay. Are you both from here? No? From California. Awesome. Do you mind sharing which part? Like north?
Central, right in the middle.
Awesome. I used to live in Vacaville, so that's why I always ask, because I was considered north, but I always felt like I was in the middle of everything. So awesome. So are you guys liking it here? Yeah. So I'm curious real quick on how you got started in the rabbit farm.
I've done it back in the day.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So I started it here trying to find a buyer.
Mhm.
That was kind of the hard part, but
Yep.
now I have one that buy everything I raise. So
Wow, fantastic. Congratulations. That's exciting. Yeah, and so are you doing that business with him, or do you have something
Well,
else?
I am a retired teacher from California,
Awesome.
but I work at WCLC Radio
Awesome.
part-time, and then I help them part-time.
Wonderful. Okay, that's really cool. Thank you. Nice to meet all of you. Laura, are you done chewing enough, or do you want me to come back around? Okay, I'll come back down. All right, and I think you two have a joint business?
My name is Carl Boyd. This is my mother, Christy Rutherford.
Okay.
I am the manager for Owl Hollow Retreat. She is the owner for Owl Hollow Retreat.
Awesome.
We are a campground. We originated campground just as normal people moving and with an ideal to build a business, a
Yeah.
campground.
Awesome.
But
Okay, yeah, and do you have anything to add?
And we sell our eggs off of it, and we've got a garden that we sell off also, and we also going to be inquiring honey and flowers next year.
yeah, fresh honey. So we are 15 acres of greenbelt, and so in our business we're incorporating a lot of agriculture type of stuff
Yeah.
so that people can have that enjoyment of
Going on.
picking their
Right.
own produce.
Wonderful. Okay, very exciting. Laura, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, so Laura, please introduce yourself.
So I'm Laura with Fresh Start Bookkeeping. I organized this fun educational seminar that we've had for the last 3 weeks, and this is our last one. So I'm kind of sad. It's been really nice for me to get to really meet our speakers and understand where they're coming from and what their products are. I also decided 2 weeks ago now that I was going to start a newspaper with some friends. And our first issue came out yesterday.
Congratulations.
Everyone pick up a copy of Fentress County today. It looks pretty good considering all the problems we had with OneDrive, so FYI, if you decide to do a newspaper, don't use OneDrive.
Awesome. Okay, so is there anything else about your business or your business ideas that you wanted to share really quickly with the group? They might not
So
already know.
like you all, we're in the growth phase with the newspaper. So trying to find a way to generate quick revenue to support the quick expenses we incurred in the last 2 weeks and things like that are a common thing that we share with all of you. And we were brainstorming today, how can we generate that income to offset what we've been spending, so.
When is your ribbon cutting?
Ribbon cutting was yesterday at 2 o'clock.
Okay. You sent Steve over there, but I guess he missed it. I'm not sure why.
Yeah, no, Steve made it.
Okay, good.
He did, it was Austin who took the picture. Yeah.
Awesome. So thank you all. I did not miss anybody. Okay. All right. So the reason I wanted to bring up authenticity is because authenticity can absolutely guide the success in your business. So I'm going to walk you through a little bit of a story that I've created, and I want you to envision yourself in this story and tell me what you would do. Okay? So let's say tomorrow morning you wake up and you say, I want to be a fisherman. Let's pretend that we live somewhere that we can be fishermen in a real kind of way. And you say, I want to catch blue marlin. They are like the trophy, absolutely trophy fish that you would want to catch, okay? So you go out there, first day, you have your boat, you have your fishing pole, you're ready to catch this marlin, you really believe in yourself, okay? Day 1, you don't catch anything. Day 2, you don't catch anything. Day 3, you don't catch anything. So finally, you happen to see over the way, you notice that there's these boats that keep catching fish every single day. So you happen to sneak a peek one day when they go dock, and you go look, and you're like, all right, what are they using to catch all these fish? So you see the poles that they're using, you see the chum that they're using, and you're like, I'm going to do that. So you grab all the same things. You come out. You start catching tons of fish, but they're tuna. Okay?
What?
They're tuna. They're not blue marlin. So you are now faced with a decision. You're like, oh my gosh, I am successful. I'm catching all these fish day after day. I'm catching these tuna, but they're not blue marlin. And that's what you set out to do. As a business owner, we're often faced with that same decision. Do we stay the course? Do we stay wanting to get the blue marlin? Or do we follow what other people are doing and that's success? So I'm curious, in your business, has that ever shown up for you where you've had to be faced with that decision of, do I do what other people are doing because it seems to be working, even though it may not lead me to happiness? So that is my question for you. Have any of you ever seen something similar to that happen in your business? Or life, even?
Yes.
Yes? Okay.
So one of our, so to say, issues was from us buying a farm. Because we got a bit of hill, so we got to move dirt and stuff.
Right.
And one of our issues is that we decided to use the clay off of our property to do it, to help build the structure, but it's starting to fall apart because the person that did it kind of did it wrong. So now we were, even though it's a campground and we're trying to be very nature-esque,
able to hear, but basically what he was saying is that they have been faced at the campground with an eyesore situation where they want things to feel natural and beautiful and wonderful because it's a retreat, and now they're faced with a structure. How do you call it?
Yes, building walls basically to hold like dirt and mountains.
So a holding wall. Okay. Yeah, so he's having to face this decision of like, do we put up this holding wall that's going to cause an eyesore that's going to take away from our big vision, or do we create maybe a new solution for this clay and things that we need to hide and put somewhere else?
Try to find stuff that's all natural
Right.
and everything.
Yeah, so this brings me to the point that when we talk about authenticity and you're faced with these.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. I just wanted to make sure if it was something that needed to be shared or if it was a question or
I
something.
know
Okay.
that you'll be able to hear it on the.
Oh, yeah, that's okay. No secrets exposed today, okay? All right, so leading your business authentically means staying true to your vision and your why. So that's our point number one of why it's important to be authentic. So what your why is matters, and that is your guiding light. So in the case of keeping things natural, you want to ask yourself, is this in alignment with who I am, what I want for my business? Does it make more sense to create a new solution, or does it make sense to say, you know what, we can go ahead and move on past that and focus on our bigger picture?
Yeah.
That resonates, I can tell.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so what's the answer? The answer is to go within, which is point number two. You already have what you need inside. Everything, the reason that you even started a business is for a reason. So something I would like you to use that journal for is to write down what you would love your reason to be and what it is, and do they match? So for instance, I became a life coach. I knew when I was 17 I wanted to be a life coach. You cannot be a life coach at 17, but in my mind I was like, I'm only 17. I waited 12 years, I finally became one. What was my why? What guided me to continue doing it is because I always wanted to help people to empower themselves to be their best version of themselves. I knew that from a young age. So I'm curious if you all are ready to share, what's your why for the business that you are in? Why did you choose your industry? And is there any personal relation to that? And there doesn't have to be. And we'll talk about that in a minute. So what is your personal relationship with your why? Is anyone open to sharing? Okay, we're good?
Yep.
Okay. All right. So does anybody have a connection with their why or would like to share why they're in the business they do? Yeah, go for it.
Might as well.
Yeah.
Alright, so Alcohol Retreat, we originally decided on a business because we wanted to open up a business
Okay.
regardless. But we actually had 3 family members pass away on, like, it was pretty
Yeah,
bad.
I'm
And
so sorry.
we're doing it in their memory. And that
Okay.
is her mother, my grandmother, and my stepdad's sister and daughter.
Oh my gosh, I am so sorry. What a powerful why though, when you have somebody that you're doing it for. Do you have something you'd like to add?
I was gonna say that, and we also took the inheritance money and didn't go
Yeah,
squander it or
invested.
party on it. We invested it into the property so that the 7 grandbabies can get a kickback from.
Wonderful.
So when we
Wow.
pass, it all that goes to that generation. And they do
Beautiful.
come down from Ohio to go work on the farm.
That's amazing.
So they spend 2 months of summer with us.
What a beautiful why, and it honors your lineage, both, you know, the past and also the future.
And we
Yeah.
still try to keep that
Wow.
family, community,
Right.
like, you know, gathering of people
Yes.
and stuff.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Exactly. So this is a great example of why your why matters. And so you don't always have to do a business that has such deep-rooted meaning, but that's the type of business that when you lean into that, it's going to be successful. So you can always change course. So the point of the fisherman's story was not that you don't change course and decide to fish for tuna. It's that you've gone within and say, does this still connect with me? Is this still who I am? And if you weren't really connected to that blue marlin, that was just something fun you thought you want to do, but you're really successful at catching tuna and you're going to be fulfilled doing that, wonderful. So for you all, with this retreat, should it blossom into something different and grow, that is okay, so long as it's still honoring that why that you created for yourself. That is beautiful. So any questions on that, or anybody else wanting to share their why, or what motivates them to stay in the industry or in the business that they're in?
My why is because I always wanted a business where I can be at home
Yes.
and make a healthy meat. When I got into the business back in the day,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize that rabbit is so lean.
Right.
I mean, it's actually better for you than chicken.
Mm-hmm.
So it's nice I'm raising well, meat that I can eat myself
Yes.
and helping other people to get healthier too.
That is wonderful. I love that because most people probably now, my friend Madison, I'm calling her out over there because I live on their farm and they're butchers, right? And so I was a vegetarian for 9 years. And then, so again, me being authentic here, I was bit by a tick and then it made me allergic to everything. So I had to start eating chicken because it was one of the only things I wasn't allergic to that was healthy. So, but how this ties back to you is I have learned now the meaning of what you just shared to such a degree that I can say that is a powerful why and I can mean that. Whereas maybe a few years ago I'd have been like, I don't understand why anybody would want to raise their own meat, but I understand now. And for you to know that you're helping your family and you're helping people around you to be able to eat healthy food, is beautiful. So thank you. Anybody else? Did you have anything to add to that?
Well, we had a similar situation where we had announcements, and that's how we chose to use it. So.
Wow.
And then
That's
eventually, I will be able to retire from radio,
Mhm.
and we'll do this full time, because he's building a barn to expand his business now.
It's
We should
exciting.
be able to triple his production.
A lot more trips.
Wonderful. And so how do you feel connected to this business?
Well, I have learned a lot this last year about the breed that we picked to use and the weather conditions and how important that is to the animals.
Mhm.
The environment that they live in and raising because his buyer has said that once we build up our production,
Mhm.
he will expire some of the customers that he has now and pick up ours addition because he likes the product that we are providing him.
Right. Wow, that is amazing. And so you've learned a lot about the business and it seems very sustainable. You found a really good buyer that's helping you say, yes, you're on the right track and it seems to feel really good for both of you. Wonderful. Okay, Anthula, and I'm sorry, what is your name again?
Mary Ellen?
Mary Ellen. So Mary Ellen or Anthula, do either of you have anything you'd like to add?
I love being in the travel industry. I love to travel. Before I was married and had all these kids, it was a passion of mine. And it's not so much just about going to touristy places. I like to learn about the culture and people. I go to grocery stores in all the country because I just like to see what normal people eat. And that's awesome. Such a nerd. I have a culinary background too. So I just love it. And I want something so I can help my husband work from home, help him. So, because right now he's commuting an hour and a half each way every day to provide for us so I can stay at home with the kids. And I want to be able to alleviate so that he doesn't have to throw his net so far to be able to pay the bills. And I like helping people solve problems. So I was actually a supervisor in the airline industry. So I dealt with a lot of people that were stranded, things that went wrong, and I like finding solutions. So
Awesome. Yeah, so one, it's alleviating your husband of the stress, hopefully, of having to, and the stress for the family. I don't imagine that's just on him. That seems like a very stressful for the entire family. And then also giving you something that's connecting you to other cultures, helping people connect with other cultures. Is there anything I'm missing there about their wife? Okay, yeah, that's absolutely wonderful. And Mary Ellen.
Yeah. Mine actually started when I had back injury. I actually lost all function on my right leg. Everything I had surgery and stuff. So my recovery, physical therapy didn't go very well for me, but chiropractic and massage did a lot of help for me.
Yeah.
So with that, it just made me interested more in just like the human body, period. So
Right.
I love science. So it kind of got me involved in that, and I focused my business on trying to get everybody back to being as healthy and as mobile as possible. So
Wonderful.
I'm kind of more on that therapeutic, just come in and relax.
So I always have to ask massage therapists that I meet, do you go get massages still?
Yes.
Wonderful. Okay, so I always have to remind everyone, like self-care, please self-care, please keep taking care of yourself. You can only pour out what you can, but that is beautiful. So listen to these whys. So do you all feel inspired by this?
Yes.
She does. Yes, all right, I love it. Okay, so this is exciting. So I want to share a moment where this came up for me where I was really tested to go within and decide if something was in alignment with who I was and stay true to that, even when the outlook looked grim. Okay, so if I chose my most authentic self in this example, the outlook was empty. There was nothing there. I was going to fall flat on my face. So this was back in 2017. I was working remotely for a company. I had just moved up here to Tennessee, and I was working remotely. The company I was working remotely for, I had moved up here from Florida, had merged. And so the company that bought the other one saw my worth and says, okay, well, we're in Boston, so we're gonna fly you out to Boston, and you're gonna decide if you wanna move here. And I had just moved here. And so I was like absolutely elated on one hand that I had been acknowledged. It was the first time in my life I'd been acknowledged for all my hard work. And I poured a lot in that little company. I did I'm sure all of you can relate, where you put on many hats for the sake of holding up a little business that's not yours. And then you realize, what am I doing this for? For like a measly, couple dollars an hour, essentially, in today's world. And so they offered to, like the biggest salary I'd ever been offered. They gave me all this praise and was like, wow, thank you, and then offered to move me to the city. I sat with that, and as thankful and grateful I was, I could not do it. I could not do it. I had no plans. I literally moved to Jamestown. There's no jobs in Jamestown, at least at this time. This was 7 years ago, so you have to make your way here a little bit harder than you do in a city where you can maybe go run. I used to, deliver food and dog walk, and I've done all sorts of things to make ends meet. Here I couldn't lean on that. So I had to sit back and I had to go within and say, what is my why? Is my why to support this company that was just bought out and moved to Boston? Am I a Boston person? The answer was no to all of it. But that money looked pretty, and I was like, that would set me up. And then I just could not do it. So the moral of this story is that I then came back to myself, and I decided intuitively I needed to lean on what my intuition was telling me, which was this does not align with who I am. As good as it sounds on paper, it was beautiful, it was nice, I got, a high five, whoop. And so what I ended up doing at that moment is deciding I was gonna start coaching. I said, you know what, I've been waiting 12 years, it's time. That is what I'm gonna use this time for. I would never have done that. I would have gone and worked for them for who knows how many years until 10 years down the road, I had forgotten my dream again. I'd waited another 12 years and another 12 years, and then suddenly I'd be 90 years old looking back going, I never did the thing that I wanted to do. And I'm not that kind of person. So I would not be standing here in front of you had I chosen to go work for that company in Boston. Would my life be good? Maybe, but I wouldn't be happy. I'd be in a big, bustling city. I've gotten very used to being here. So all of this is to say is that we're all faced with this decision to lean in, to know our why, and to be ourselves. And so before I move on to the last bit, any questions or thoughts either about what I've shared, if it came up maybe something for you, or just any questions? Go for it.
I appreciate what you do because I worked for a very big airline and I was making a lot of money an hour. And if I was making that wage here, I'd be living in a big house on the hill, not the little house. Because it just goes harder.
Right.
But at the end of the day, when COVID was happening and they were asking us to think about retiring early and things like that, all my values, they just did not align with this company. And it's sad that big companies have to have like social values that,
Sure.
that can really go against our grain.
Right.
And I just said, I have to go.
Right.
It's time for me to go.
Yeah.
And that was hard. Because man, I really like that wage right now.
Heck
But
yes.
I wouldn't be thinking about doing my own thing if I was still working for that.
Right.
So I definitely.
Now, had you already started your family at that point?
I had my son,
Mm-hmm.
and I had a little girl who was almost 2, and I was pregnant with my third.
So this also
So
gave you some flexibility.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I was about to give birth to my third child, and that was something that I was getting sick with, working 40 hours and sitting. I mean,
Right.
I had a stand to sit desk, but still, like, it's a
Right.
lot. And when you're pregnant, it's a lot,
Yeah.
even more.
I can imagine.
So I had tried to ask HRs or something, I didn't, they just kept telling me, but you work from home.
Right.
So you work from home, so all these things that you're telling us that you're getting ill with, that doesn't make any sense. I just couldn't understand, but as soon as the company was in trouble, they couldn't wait to beg us to leave or to take time off. So it was just like another thing that was just, you know what?
Right.
It's okay. Because I worked so hard and I loved what I did. I loved helping people. They're stranded. I'm like, I'm gonna find a solution. That was the best thing.
Yeah.
And they would be like, what's your name? Let me write. I'm like, you wasting your time writing my supervisor? Don't even do that. It's like, it's never gonna get anywhere where the acknowledgement is actually gonna be equal to what I put into it.
Right.
So it was a really good move. But still, I can totally understand
Yes.
leaving a company because you put your blood, sweat, and tears and you're never gonna get that.
Right.
And they're gonna throw you like here's an achievement letter or something weird.
Yeah. 20 years, you get a
Why
watch.
does it feel
You're
like a
yay.
sweet snack or something?
Right.
It definitely doesn't feel like what it should be.
Awesome. Yeah, exactly. So that's a great, thank you, Anthula, for sharing that. because that really brings home. Oh, I forgot to say silence phones, I'm sorry. I meant to say that too for everybody's sake, and I just forgot. Do you need to take that? Are you okay?
Be outside.
Okay.
That's why I was
I just want to make sure it's
wondering.
not an emergency. Obviously, if there's an emergency, please answer. Okay, so just want to make sure that I'm on par here. Time, anybody?
207.
207? Okay, good. Perfect. All right, so all this is to say is what have you learned about being authentic to yourself already? Think about that. We don't have to answer that just yet. But also I want you to think about how being true to yourself and relying on that intuition is going to lend to having the successful business. So this is the whole point of today's workshop is, okay, how does this equal success? Okay, you know your commitment, you know that you're gonna push forward, you know you have your why, you know you have your vision, so how does that equal success? Well, one, when you are your authentic self and you know who you are deeply, you are also gonna connect to people better. So especially in a small community, you need to be able to be genuine. And if you come talk to me now, as a presenter, and then if you talk to me a week from now when I'm in my Walmart clothes, I'm gonna be the same person, okay? And so that is what being authentic is. That's how you check yourself. Am I still being the same person? Business you and personal you is the same person. So you're building trust and rapport. When you do that, all of my clients come from word of mouth, usually because I meet them somewhere, and then they remember me when they need a coach. Honest to God, that's how I build my business. And so when I do that, I've actually tested this. I started out a pet sitting business last year and I did the same thing just to test it. Is it me or what is it? What is the case? And Laura and I have worked together on pet sitting too, and that's something that I've learned is the more you are yourself, the more you're gonna attract the right type of clients. Because if you're pretending to be somebody you're not, you're gonna get clients that don't align with you, that are gonna misalign with your core values, with who you are, and then you might not get that really awesome client that buys all your rabbits. You might get one instead that's trying to cheat you out of every hard work you're doing because you're not in alignment with them, but you believe in what you do. So you're gonna draw those people in. So that's number one, you're building trust rapport, and two is attracting the right clients. And then the last is you feel satisfied and fulfilled in what you do. That is gonna bring you to success. Because at the end of the day, what is success for you? Is success money? It can be. Is success fame? Can be. Or is success waking up in the morning and looking forward to your day, knowing that everything you are doing is for a purpose that feels good to you and that you know has a bigger purpose in this life. All right, so all that is to say, I'm going to open it up for questions and then I will talk about maybe some next steps that you can take home with you. But any questions or thoughts that you've written down or that have come up for you in any of today's discussion? All right. Anything that anybody wrote down that they wanted to share or thoughts? Nothing. And that's okay if not, just want to make sure.
So I just want to throw out there that being in two places at once, kind of running both businesses, the bookkeeping and the newspaper, I kind of feel like the bookkeeping is my ultimate calling. I really love doing it and helping the people that come to me. That's why I'm doing it, is to help, not because of the money or anything else, although we need it to live on. But as long as I earn enough to be comfortable, I'm satisfied, because the ultimate goal at the end of the day is how many people can I help achieve their own success. And I see that being fulfilled with the bookkeeping. And then I kind of veered off to do the newspaper thing. And it has a similar feel to it, but I know that going forward long term, that once it's established, then I can gracefully back off and go, full time to the bookkeeping. But at this moment, I know I'm needed, and I know that I'm serving a critical purpose in this community, doing what I'm doing, being myself, which feels so good, you guys, that it's okay to be me, and that I will attract the people to the company and to me that I need to be working with, and the companies that I'm working with. And I can't stress it enough. This whole adventure in the last 2 weeks with the newspaper has been a whirlwind, but it has been a really big affirmation of, if you are true to yourself and you're true naturally to the others, that you will attract the right kind of person that you need.
Thank you for that, Laura. And I'm proud of you, by the way, just FYI. 'Cause I've worked with Laura. We've been working together for 2 years, going on 2 years now.
years.
Like, yeah. So
Yeah.
I've seen your growth, and honestly, it's scary to be yourself, especially in a tight knit community when you're worried about your reputation, when you're worried about all of the things that come with that, okay? Especially if you're new to the area, there's a lot that comes with that, right? And so we don't have time to go dive deeper into all of the obstacles that that brings and anxieties, but you can always lean on your intuition. That's quiet. And then just remember that every decision you make in your business is a reflection of who you are, whether you think you're showing the public or not. So you already are operating in your most natural state, even if you're trying not to. Okay, so that's just something to iterate, because I've seen some of my clients come to me and they think that they are presenting themselves in one way, and I say, I can see through it. I can see through all of it. And so my last point of this is to say, be comfortable being vulnerable. Okay, an authentic person knows that they're not perfect, and they're also not worried about presenting themselves as being perfect. Okay, so be open to learn and be open to ask for help and support from friends, from colleagues, from people in town. People will step up to help more than you think. It's usually a personal problem if you're not willing to ask for help. It's usually something that says, when I was a child, I never had any resources or anybody to lean on, so I learned to be hypervigilant. Something or hyper-independent. So just remember that there's always a root to those things. So the more that you can be self-aware, the more that you can lean into those areas that need growth, the more you're going to be able to show up as your authentic self. Okay? All right. So one question to write in your journal, if you would like to, is, what do I want my business to look like in 1 year from today? So August 24th, 2024. I think I got the date right. And then one more question when you all are done. All right, and the last question is, what impact on your life, your family, and your community do you want to have? So I'll say that again. What impact on your life, on your family, and your community do you want to have? All right, so if any of you want to book, I do have a free session link on my website. My website is coachforceos.com. So again, that's coachforceos.com. There's a link, I put it right smack as soon as you get there. You'll see my face right next to a giant button that says, if you were at today's event, click here for your free consultation. So I'll know who you are when you click that link. And so it is free of charge. And so what you'll get out of that is we'll talk about your authenticity and how you were feeling after today's session. And then anything else that came up for you individually or in your business we can talk about. Okay, any questions or thoughts? Yes?
Is it the number 4 or
Oh, FOR, thank you. Yes, Coach FOR. I like that. Yes.
Okay, so I kind of wanted to piggyback off what she said
Yeah, go for
earlier.
it.
So we're kind of the opposite. All right, never be satisfied. Always aim higher, and the reason is because as soon as you're satisfied, it's not, when I say that you failed, you've not actually failed. All right,
Right.
you probably made enough to live or to retire or whatever. But if you're not doing something to better your company along the way, then you are not going to get anywhere. You're going to stay at the same spot, making about the same amount of money. But you gotta push for it. You gotta keep aiming higher and higher. Don't be satisfied with sitting at whatever level you're at. Do better.
Yeah, and that just told me one of your values. So who you authentically are.
I'm ex-military, so.
I sense that. Yeah,
Like,
I feel like you have a motto that says "Do better." I love that. Like, do better. That's perfect though, honestly, because that tells me that that's going to be something that matters to your all's business.
Keep pushing.
You're not going to stop. You're going to figure out a solution to the eyesore. You're not going to stop there. And yeah, so having that is important, but also acknowledging that that is one of your core values is also
Yes.
important.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's why I brought it up because
Yep.
like, that fits in.
That
with
fits in
that.
perfect. Yeah. So again, that's with that self-awareness. And so if none of you, we don't have time today to go into anything further, but if any of you are interested in talking about this further and getting deeper, this is a topic that has many, many layers. So again, go to my website, and if you just put that in the notes, there's a little note section when you're filling out the form. The note section, just say, I would love to talk more about this, because it's something that I can offer in Jamestown. We can do more of these type of things, and more and I can work together on that. So, okay, that's all.
Thank you.
All right.
She said, good job.
Thank you, honey. She seemed to to be into it too. She's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna start my business with mommy.